All right, hello and welcome entrepreneurs. Today's video is going to be about automating your sales pipeline. I have had numerous questions on what I do, what I've set up before, and just what's available with Nurture to Profit, GoHighLevel, and what you can do, and the limit and almost like the unlimited variety of what GoHighLevel has. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get into it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm in GoHighLevel, Nurture to Profit. This is my white labeled version. Now, I have a bit of a list that I'm going to be going through. I've got a good memory, it's just really short, so I write things down. So if you see me popping over here, that's why. But today we're going to go over a little bit about what automation in your pipeline actually means, what it can do, and why you should do it. So opportunities is where we're going to be living for the next couple minutes. But as you can see in pipelines, I have a couple different, right? And a lot of these are just tests, right? But for argument's sake, we're going to just start our own new pipeline. So we're going to come up to pipeline here. We're going to hit create new pipeline. Big green button here. We're going to call this YouTube test. So the first stage, really up to you. So what is your sales process, right? So as leads come in from your ads, as leads come in from your website, as leads come in from a form or a lead magnet or whatever it might be, usually they come into I would call it a holding spot, right? And so this holding spot, I usually call it lead in. So it's where the leads come in. After they've come in, usually what happens is there's some sort of communication going to happen, right? So let's go with the scenario that they came in from an ad. So the ad is going to capture some of their information. It's going to capture their name. It's going to capture their email. It's going to capture their phone. And maybe it's going to capture, let's hypothetically say that we're grabbing their biggest pain point or something along those lines, okay? So once we get that information, GoHighLevel or Nurture to Profit, we're going to be sending them email, maybe text message, things like that, right? And so usually what happens is what I like to call them like are attempts. And attempts are like attempts at communication, right? So a lot of times there's your manual efforts at communicating with clients, and then there's also the automated. And so usually a sales pipeline is for the manual actions, right? But you can make it fairly automated. So I like to call these attempt 1, attempt 2, okay, and I usually go to attempt 5, okay? So again, I'm not going to do that, just a tutorial, so I'm not going to go all the way to attempt 5. After you've gotten to attempt 5, usually the lead, if they don't answer within a certain amount of days, I would call them cold, dead. You're going to throw them into a nurture sequence or something along those lines, okay? Now, let's say that our goal is to get them on a call. So we're going to call the next stage booked call, invite, okay? So maybe you made contact with them, you invited them, and then there's a booked call scheduled. And then maybe there's, a canceled, a no-show. Oops. Let's call this bad fit, not right now. Let's call another one bad fit, no money. Let's call this close file. Actually, let's do nurture. And then let's do close file. Okay, so this is basically how I would set up very basic sales pipeline. And keep in mind that this can change dramatically. You don't have to stick with this. You don't have to do what I've done. I've set up 1,000 pipelines in my life, and I've worked for some crazy offers and, 25 plus closers. And I'll be honest with you, for every offer I've been on, every single pipeline flow has been different. All right, so I built this pipeline. It's going to be the YouTube test. Let's go back to opportunities. Let's open up and go to YouTube test. And I have a blank. There we go. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put them inside of the lead in stage. So like I said before, usually if we're coming from ads, there's going to be some sort of automation with a form. And so let's just see if I have something right now. So we have a 1-hour funnel automation. Let's just go into that one. So 1-hour funnel, cold email, promo, all this kind of stuff. So 1-hour funnel automation. So there's a form submitted, how to build a funnel in 1 hour, wait 3 minutes, send an email, wait 30 minutes, and all of this. Okay, so this is kind of what we're going to be doing, but let's build something from scratch. Okay, so let's go create workflow, start from scratch. New trigger, and we're just going to say, hey, it's a form. So usually when you have an ad, like a conversion ad, a lead ad, they're going to come in and they're going to fill out a form. So what we're going to do is going to say the trigger is form submitted, okay? And then the form is, let's just find something that I can do. Let's just do form 20. I don't know what that is yet, but we'll go find out. So I'm going to hit save, okay? Hit save. So that's my trigger, okay? I'm going to call this as well. Don't forget to name this, but YouTube tutorial sales pipeline. Okay, now first thing we want to do is we want to add them to the opportunity. So we're going to create an opportunity, and this is where I was saying before, is when you're doing this YouTube test, we want a lead in stage where they're going to come in. You can give them a value. So usually when a lead comes in, I usually give them a value of like $50. And it's up to you how you do this, but I like to see at a glance, like monetary wise, like all of the dollars that I have usually add up to, you know, how many leads I have in that stage. And then I'll slowly give them different increments. It's up to you. I'm a nerd, so you don't have to do it that way. Now, the next thing I like to do is I usually give them a tag. For this example, I'm not going to, and then you can assign them to a user if there's a user that needs to follow up with them. So for example, it would be like me. Okay, and I always like to name these. So create or update opportunity, add lead to lead in stage YouTube pipeline. So whenever someone else is coming in here, they know exactly what's going on, right? Assigned user MVP, that's my initials. There we go, and we're gonna hit save. Okay, so we have form submitted, and it's form 20. Save and save. Let's just turn this on. Save. Now, there's a little setting here called allow reentry, because we're going to be doing multiple tests. We want to be able to come in here multiple times. So I'm going to hit save again. All right, duplicate. Okay, so we're going to go back to sites. We're going to go to form builder. We're going to go find form 20. There it is. Okay, and there's nothing in it. Cool. Makes sense. So let's do full name. Let's do phone. Let's do email. And I said I was going to have a question on there as well. So let's do custom fields. Is your clinic currently, I don't know. Okay, there we go. Is your clinic currently offering implants? So this is obviously for dental implants. There we go. So I'm going to make everything here. I'm going to reorder it. I'm going to make it required. And hit save. Beautiful. Okay, so integrate. Let's go to open form link. And let's just add my name. And then I agree and hit submit. Perfect. So let's go back. I should be in here now. There I am. Okay, and so now you can see that I've made it to the lead-in stage, $50 price tag on me, and here I am. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is, since we've captured the leads, we're going to do attempt 1, attempt 2, okay? And so usually what happens is we're going to want to notify a team member that this lead is here, okay? So we can come back to the same automation. Here we are. Okay, and then what we can do is we can actually set up a call. So a manual call, which all it does is it adds this lead to a list, and then we can actually put on a notification, send an internal notification. We can say, hey, in here, call lead attempt 1. Okay, call this lead. And you can come up with any variation that you want. I like just putting in something generic for our test. You know, I can get pre-elaborate, but it would be a very long video. So all we're doing here is, oops, please check for valid inputs. Oh, redirect to the contact, user type, particular user. Actually, we'll just go to the assigned user. There we go. So we'll just go to user assigned to contact. There we are. Save. So they come in, they go to a pipeline stage, they get assigned to me, a manual call is added in there for me, and then it sends me a notification. Okay, perfect. So what we can do now is we can back out of this, and we're just going to create another workflow for attempt 1. Going to do YouTube attempt 1, and then what we're going to, the trigger here is going to just be a pipeline. So this video is about pipeline automation, so this is what we're going to do. So the pipeline stage is changed, okay, and we're going to be in pipeline YouTube. And we're going to be in the stage attempt 1, save, settings, allow reentry, because I always forget that. Then I wonder why it's not working. And then we're going to send an SMS, okay? So let's just do, hey, contact. Sometimes full name isn't a good idea. So, hey, contact first name. I just tried to give you a call. Let me know the best time to reach back out. And then if you have the compliance set up, it should send from, it should be HP, 10DLC, and all that compliant. So usually GoHighLevel, Nurture Profit, they set up the compliance for you. So there's no reason to tell them again who you are, if that makes sense. It's going to send that for you. Okay. So now that we have that SMS, usually what I'll do is I'll send a voicemail. And I'll do a voicemail drop and I'll upload a thing there, but I'm not going to do it for this sake. But usually when you phone someone, you leave a voicemail, but I find that leaving voicemails just take up too much time and people stutter and all this kind of stuff. So I get people to record their own voicemails and I'll add them in here for them. So it'll just be something like, hey, it's, Mike from Nurture to Profit. Just tried to give you a call. You opted in for a free trial. I just wanted to get your thoughts on when we could schedule an appointment to get done. I don't know. Making this up. Okay. So once you've done that, then that's attempt 1. You're also going to do an attempt 2. 3, 4, and 5. So you can play around. You can do SMS, email, voicemail drop. The other thing that you want to do, and I always forget this, is you want to delay or wait till the next day, right? So 1 day, and then you want to do another manual call. Okay, so a manual call to obviously give another call. And then it's going to do is it's going to trigger you to go to attempt 2, and then you're going to go to attempt 3, attempt 4, and attempt 5, if that makes sense, okay? So we're going to go back to workflows. Oops, I didn't actually turn that on. On, save. Okay, back to workflows. Now we can go to, give me a second here. Okay, so it's in manual actions under conversations. And what we're going to do is once I'm added to that manual actions, which is a call, then that should happen. So if we go back to automation, 1 hour, let's just double check that I was added to everything. So I'm just going to put myself through this again. Test workflow, Dallas, 1. There. Okay, so now that I'm in here, I have to obviously give this person a call. So this is going to be something that messages me and it tells me I have a lead. I'm just going to mark all as red. And then you're going to get a notification inside of the CRM, or whoever the person is, they're going to get that notification. So you're going to come in here, you're going to call this person, and then you're good to go. Once you've called that person, you're going to move them into attempt 1. Right? Especially if you haven't made contact. If you made contact, you're obviously going to try and get them in to book a call, right? So once I've done that, it's going to send me a text message. Once it sends me a text message, then it's going to send me a voicemail drop, and then it's going to wait 24 hours, and then it's going to go to the next thing, and it's going to give me that manual call. So that's automating basically your prospecting to the point where lead in, temp 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you're good to go. Now, booked call. So when you've done, there's other video done on scheduling, and you can go either watch that video or just briefly into calendar settings, you're going to set up a calendar and all of that, all the settings that come with it, round robin, depending on who you want as your setter, whoever's booking appointments, whether it's yourself to get them on the call, you're going to want to book them onto a calendar, right? And so when you book them onto that calendar, part of the automation would be sending reminders to show up for that appointment, right? Cool. So once they've done that, and they've booked a call, then you're going to have a booked call reminder sequence, right? If they booked onto, my calendar, I'm going to send them reminders to show up. I'm not going to show that because it's very basic, but I can show you the one that I already have set up. It's basically say, hey, when there's an appointment, wait till 24 hours before the appointment, send a reminder, 1 hour before, send another email. I don't use text message right now just because this is only an example and I don't want to spend money on text messages if I don't need to. And so usually I would have text messages inside of here as well, right? Perfect. So now I get on that call, and this is all worst case scenario. I go over the worst case scenario. Maybe they don't show up, maybe they canceled, okay? So inside of your automation, right, we can do another workflow, start from scratch, and they're just going to be no show. And then I can just put YouTube. Okay. So the trigger is appointment status, and it's going to be event type is normal because you like recurring and all that. We're not going to worry about that. The in calendar, it's going to be with Michael's booking. And we're going to say that the status is canceled. Okay, we're going to save. Now, I'm not going to go through setting all this up, but inside of here, you're going to have like an SMS, you're going to have an email, and you're going to say something along the lines of, hey, I noticed you canceled an appointment. Do you want to rebook? Do you want to do this? You're going to try and get it back on the calendar, right? This is what this is for. But while you're doing that, you're going to create an opportunity. And basically, this is just moving them. So we're going to go to the YouTube test, and we're just going to move them to canceled. That's it. And then put a 0, save. There you go. I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to put allow reentry. Perfect. So now we've automated this part. Now, if they've booked a call, they're going to get the reminders. If they cancel that call, they're going to get moved over to here automatically. This means that you're not going to look into your booked call area and you're going to see all these calls that are scheduled for the future, but 90% of them have canceled or something hypothetically, right? So it just cleans it up, right? Now, after you've done your SMS, right? Let's just say hypothetically you added all of that in there and you've added your email and you've added all that in there. Just making this up, okay? And then say, for example, you're going to try for the next week to get them back on. And what you can do is you can actually just go wait after you've done that. So every single time you're going to be waiting. So you're going to be opportunity, send an SMS, send an email, wait 2 days, send them another email, all that. And then when you get to the point where it's like, hey, listen, we're done. So say, for example, that's 7 days, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to opportunity and we're going to go to YouTube test and we're going to go to nurture, okay? So we don't know because we haven't really gotten on a call with them. We don't know if it's a good fit. We don't know if it's a bad fit. We don't know. So we're just going to throw them in nurture, okay? Now, when you've done that, you can probably pick and guess what's going to happen. So if, for example, we throw them into nurture, right? What we're going to do at the exact same time, oh, this is no-show and this is actually canceled. That's my bad. Canceled. And they've gotten here, we wait and we put them into here. We can actually just add them to a workflow. Add to workflow, and we can have a nurture. So if you have a nurturing campaign, which is a huge email sequence, right? Email sequence, hypothetically, you're going to add them there. Now, if, for example, right, you think there's obviously a bit of a flaw with this right now, right? So we add them to this, add them to canceled, send them an SMS, email. We're going to do that for the next 7 days. If that doesn't happen within the next 7 days, then we're going to add them to this pipeline stage and whatever. But what if they book a call? Okay, so cool. So now we want to just make sure that if we're booking a call in here, then one of the first things we want to do is just remove them from workflow, another workflow, and we just want to remove them from canceled, YouTube canceled. There we go, save. So all that's doing right now, right, and been caught in this too many times, is if, for example, they went into nurture and it took them 7 days, but then they're like, oh, hey, you know what, actually I do, and they booked a call, it's going to actually remove them from that workflow so they don't get that, they get into the email nurture sequence that you don't want them to be in, and then the other automations are actually going to put them back into that pipeline, if that makes sense. Cool. All right. So we've gotten over that. No-show is the exact same thing, right? So when someone no-shows, there's 2 ways of doing this. So if you go into calendars and you go into appointments, I don't know if I'll have any appointments in here. Okay, so I have appointments in here. Usually I have all the closers use this. So showed, no-showed, canceled. Canceled usually is by them, but regardless, canceled. If they no-showed, then I use this status here. The other thing that you could do is you could have it so that if they click and drag them no-show, then it'll also do that. Now, I don't ever do it that way. I don't like having status is confirmed just means that you have 100% show up rate and all this kind of stuff, and you can't really use that. So I like to have no-shows, showed, and canceled, no matter what. No offense. If anything is confirmed and in the past, then the closers need to fix that in order to get paid and all that kind of stuff, right? So automations. There's a couple ways of doing this. We're going to create a new workflow, start from scratch. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to just say appointment, no show. Okay, and we're just going to say, hey, appointment trigger is appointment status. Exact same way we set up the last one. We're just going to say, hey, in calendar, Mike's booking link. We're going to say appointment status is no show, save. And then we're going to basically do the same thing. So we're going to do SMS. Hey, let's try and, if this person didn't show up, let's try and get him back on the calendar. So we're going to do the exact same thing where we do, and you can duplicate it the last one. save, and then we're gonna do that for the next 6-7 days or something like that. But before we do that, we want to do a, opportunity. We're gonna move them automatically, right? So in sales pipeline, YouTube test, stage, no show, set action, save. So the exact same thing, right? We're gonna do this for the next 7 days or however long you want, right? And we're gonna wait. And we're gonna do 7 days, right? Save. And then we're going to do opportunity, and we're going to do in pipeline, YouTube. We're going to put them in nurture, right? So now that we have appointment no-show, like the status no-show, it's automatically going to send them like a sequence in order to get back on the calendar as well. So canceled's been done, no-show's been done. That seems pretty straightforward. We're going to automatically put them into the nurture sequence, right? We can add them to a workflow as well. Add to workflow. And we're going to add them to the this one. Again, I'm just making this up, but you would normally have those email sequences in there. And there we go. So once we have completed it, now I can turn all these on, but I'm not going to, just for the sake of testing right now. But now if it goes to no show, actually, sorry, let's do it. Let's just turn them on. So let's do appointment no show, turn it on. Okay, so let's just say that I actually didn't show up for my appointment. So let's go Dallas, in there, we're in test. Okay. So there, now I'm in the no-show. Now I'm going to receive that SMS, I'm going to receive that email, and we're good to go. Now, the bad fit, not right now, bad fit, no money, those are up to you what you want to do, right? Bad fit, not right now, just means that we can add them to a nurture sequence, right? But bad fit just means that there was a call. So usually what happens is if the sales closers jumped on a call and it was just not a good fit, right? Then what they'll do is they'll click and drag them over to here. That'll start the exact same nurture sequence, right? Just keep them going. But if we're going through our pipelines later on, we now know that like we've already had a call with them at a glance. We know that, there was contact and a call actually made at a glance and things like that, right? So, and then it just generally nurture just means that like, we don't know, we didn't make contact with them, they ghosted us, something along those lines, right? And just at a pipeline glance, it's just kind of nice to have it, right? So, and then close file. The only thing I do with close file is I'll start from scratch, do close file. And then usually this will happen if like someone's like, absolutely not, no, F you, no way. Then I'll just do pipeline stage changed. And then I'll do in pipeline stage is close file. And this is just like a last resort. I D&D them. So enable D&D for all channels, save. And this is just usually a bad fit. And then I'll usually put a Slack channel, let's not message this person again. And we just kind of close the file. We don't want to talk to them ever again. And it happens, right? Like in everyone's business, we just wanted like a, do not disturb list. Like, just like, let's not, this person was mean, rude, arrogant, and they're just trolls, they're a fake account, whatever it might be, right? So there we go. Okay, so that is a basic, and I say basic, there's probably more advanced stuff that we can do with this, but I just wanted to show you that the majority of this entire pipeline stage has been automated for the most part. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to and on how to use it and how to move people from one side to the next. Those triggers can change, the emails can change, and the other thing is that it's completely customizable to what you want to do. So you don't have to follow exactly what I said, but those are the general trends of like automating a sales CRM. So in the next video, I'm going to be going over what happens when you close, right? Because if you notice in here, we didn't say anything about closing. We didn't say anything about money. We didn't say anything about like actually, making the sale. So that's going to be a next video just because this one's already long enough. And when I get the video done, link it somewhere in here for you and we'll go from there. So as always, if you got some value, please give this video a like. If you have any ideas on videos that you want me to do, please give me a comment down below. And if you need some help with your own business, your own sales and marketing systems, you can book a call down below as well. And if you want to try out Nurture to Profit and join my weekly coaching, there should be a link down below for Nurture to Profit and a 7-day free trial. So have a good day. Cheers.